Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My esteemed students, hello again, and you are welcome to a new lesson of English. The title of today's lesson is Subject and Object Questions, and this lesson will be about grammar. The first lesson about grammar. In this lesson, we will talk about subject and object questions. So, we will talk about the questions which are relating to subject and object. In pairs, describe the pictures. So my students, here we can see two pictures. The first one, which is about the pyramids, the Great Pyramids, and the second one, how were these pyramids made? How were these pyramids made? So you can describe these two pictures. I will help you. So I will give you extra information about the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid is at Giza. So it's at Giza. It's aligned with the stars. So the Egyptians must have had very good astrological knowledge. They probably used specialist surveying tools to make the perfect pyramid shape, to lay out straight lines and get right angles. The Egyptians, they probably used specialist surveying tools to make the perfect pyramid shape, to lay out straight lines and get right angles. Maybe they used specialist tools. Now, after looking at the first two pictures, we can do exercise number B in our books. Match the questions from 1 to 8 to the answers from A to H. Let's read the first column. Who built the Great Pyramid? When did they build it? How long did it take? How many people helped to build it? What did they use to build the pyramid? Where did the materials come from? How did they transport them, and why did they build it? The second column, number A, they rolled them on long pieces of wood. B, about 30 years. C, to make a tomb for the pharaoh. D, probably from a swan. E, about 20,000. F, stone. G, the ancient Egyptians, and H, 4,600 years ago. Now let's match between the first and the second column. Who did build the Great Pyramid? Who built the Great Pyramid? The answer is the ancient Egyptians. So here in this sentence we are asking about the subject. The subject, the person or the people who built the pyramid, the Great Pyramid. So they are the ancient Egyptians. Number 2. When did they build it? When? In this question, we are not asking about the subject. Here, the subject is known. We are not asking about the subject. Number 2, when did they build it? Yes, 4,600 years ago. That's right. Number 3, how long did it take? How long did it take? Yes, it took about 30 years. It took about 30 years. Number 4 also here. We are asking here in this question about the subject. How many people helped to build it? How many people helped to build it? The answer is about 20,000. About 20,000 people. Number 5. What did they use to build the pyramid? What did they use to build the pyramid? The answer is number F. Stone. The following sentence, number 6. Where did the materials come from? Where did the materials come from? Probably from Aswan. Probably from the city of Aswan. How did they transport them? How did they transport materials? They rolled them on long pieces of wood. So, the ancient Egyptians rolled these materials on long pieces of wood. And finally, why did they build it? What is the reason behind building the Great Pyramid? Why did they build it? To make a tomb for the Pharaoh. To make a tomb for the Pharaoh. Now after that, we can check our answers. Number 1 with G. Number 2, we match it with H. Number 3 with B. Number 4 with E. 5 with F. 6 with D. 7 with A. And finally with C. Note. Now in the previous questions, in question number 1 and question number 4, we don't use the verb to do. Why? Because in these two questions, number 1 and number 4, we ask about the subject. So if we want to ask about the subject in a sentence, there is no need to use the verb to do. If we want to ask about the subject, there is no need to use the verb to do. And if you want to ask about the object, here in this case we have to use the verb to do in this case. Now C. Look carefully at the questions in exercise number B. How are questions number 1 and 4 different from the other 6 questions? We can answer that by saying the question number 1 and question number 4 ask about the subject. And as I have said earlier, if I want to ask about the subject, there is no need to use verb to do. Whereas if I want to ask about the object, I have to use verb to do. So this is the difference, and we have to consider it. We have to put this difference into our consideration. So after that, check by reading the information below. Subject and object questions. In the question, who built the Great Pyramid? Who built the Great Pyramid? I mean the first question. We want to find out information about the subject of the verb. I mean the ancient Egyptians. So this type of question is sometimes called a subject question because we are asking about the subject. Here there is no need to use do, as I have said. Whereas in the question, why did they build it? Here we already know the subject. I mean they. And so we are asking about something else. We are not asking about the subject. Here we are asking about something else. We are asking about the reason why. We want to know what is the objective, what is the reason. So this type of question is sometimes called an object question because this type of question doesn't ask about the subject, so it's called object question. So we have to differentiate between the kinds of questions, I mean subject or object questions. We make subject questions without do or did. So as I have mentioned, there is no need to use verb to do in the past or in the present. Do, does, did. There is no need to use verb to do if I want to ask about the subject. They usually begin with who or what. Examples: who gave you my email address? Here I'm asking about the subject. So the answer is Katie gave me your email address. Number 2. What makes him run? What makes him run? Answer: ambition makes him run. So we use who if I want to ask about the person or if I want to ask about people in general, and we use what if we want to ask about things in general. We use do not or did not in object questions in the present or simple past. We use don't or didn't in object questions in the present or simple past. Examples: where did you get that scarf? The answer is in Tripoli. In Tripoli. Why does wood float? Because it's less dense than water. Why didn't you open the door? Because I couldn't find the key. So here we use don't or didn't in object questions in the present or simple past. So before anything we have to define if this question is about object or if this question is about subject. If it is about subject, so there is no need to use do or does or did. If it's about object, we have to use verb to do. Now let's do the exercises in workbook on page 6 and 7. Let's begin with exercise number A. Exercise number A on page number 6 in your workbook. Look at the diagram on the right showing how news travels between people. Zainab told her friend Hajar's secret. So Zainab told her friend Hajar a secret. Answer the questions. Number 1. Who told Nisreen? Who told Nisreen? Here in these questions you are asking about the subject. So who told Nisreen? Number 2. Who did Nisreen tell? Here in this question we are talking about the object question. So how can we answer the first one? Who told Nisreen? Yes, excellent, Hajar. So the first one, Hajar told Nisreen. But who did Nisreen tell? Nisreen told Sukaina. Nisreen told Sukaina. Number 3. Who told Salsabil? Who told Salsabil? Who is the person who told Salsabil about the secret? Yes, number 3. If we look at the diagram, we can guess the answer. Who told Salsabil? Yes, Sukaina. Sukaina told Salsabil this secret. And finally, who did Salsabil tell? Who did Salsabil tell? Here in this question, we are asking about the object, not the subject. So Salsabil here told Hana, Asma, and Zahra. So the first question asks about the subject. The third question asks about the subject also, whereas the second and fourth questions ask about object. Now you can see the answers. We can see the answers. Number 1, Hajar. Number 2, Sukaina. 3, Sukaina. 4, Zahra. Hana and Asma. Let's move to another practice. Write 4 more questions with tell or told. The past of tell is told about Zainab and her friends. Then ask a partner your questions. Yes. Possible answers. We can write, who did Zainab tell? Who did Zainab tell? So Zainab told Hajar. Yes. Then, who told Hajar? Who told Hajar? Zainab. Zainab told Hajar. Who did Hajar tell? Who did Hajar tell? Nisreen. Who told Sukaina? Nisreen. So Nisreen told Sukaina. Nisreen is the subject here. Who did Sukaina tell? Who did Sukaina tell? She told Salsabil and Hana. Who told Asma? Who told Asma? Salsabil is the doer. Salsabil told Asma. Who did Asma tell? Hajar. Who did Asma tell? Here the subject is Asma, and here we are asking about the object. So who did Asma tell? She told Hajar. Who told Zahra? Who told Zahra? Salsabil. Salsabil told Zahra. Who did Hana tell? Who did Hana tell? Nobody. So Hana told nobody. Who did Zahra tell? Who did Zahra tell? Also Zahra told none. She told nobody. And finally, who told Zainab? Who is the person here? Who told Zainab? Nobody. It was her secret. Who told Zainab? Nobody told her because it was her secret. Here we can notice that some questions ask about the subject and other questions ask about the object. And the questions which ask about the subject, they don't have do, and the questions which ask about the object, they have did. You can see that clearly. Now read the information about the Colosseum in Italy, then complete the questions. Here we have to complete the questions. The Colosseum was built by the Romans. It was the largest amphitheater in the Roman world, built to hold 50,000 spectators. The large oval-shaped space was used as an arena for entertainment, such as fights between gladiators and animals. About 20,000 to 30,000 people worked on the Colosseum, including both slaves and skilled workers. They used stone, concrete, and wood. The stone came from Tivoli, 20 miles from Rome, and was transported in horse-drawn carts. It took about 10 years to build the Colosseum, which was completed in 80 AD. Apparently, the spectacular opening ceremonies lasted 100 days. 100 days. Now, number 1. Who built the Colosseum? The answer is the Romans. Here we are asking about the subject. We are asking about the subject. So, simply we can say who built the Colosseum in the past. Who built the Colosseum? Number 2. Why build it? Why did they build it? Why did they build it? The answer, as an arena for entertainment. So here we ask about the reason why. How many workers build it? Here we are asked about the subject, about 20,000 to 30,000. The following question: what materials use? In this case we have to use passive. So what materials were used? What materials were used? And the answer is stone, concrete, and wood. Where did stone come from? Where did stone come from? In this question, we ask about the object. We ask about the object. We don't ask about the subject. And finally, how long? Yes, how long did the opening ceremony last? It lasted 100 days. Dear students, you can see the answers. Now you can see the answers. So number 1, who built the Colosseum? Here we ask about the subject. Number 2, why did they build it, and after did, as we said in the previous lessons, after did the verb must be used in the infinitive form. 3. How many workers built it? Here we are asking about the subject also, so there is no need to use do. Number 4. What materials did they use? What materials did they use? 5. Where did the stone come from? Where did the stone come from? Here we are all asking about the object, not the subject, so we use did, and after did we put the verb come in the infinitive form. And finally, how long did the opening ceremony last? How did the ceremony last? And in this practice we can end up our lesson. I hope you all, my dear students, I hope you all have the benefit of this lesson also. I want to say goodbye to you, and I hope you a good future. See you in the next lesson.